Soon to be officially official. Gem State election results have gone through the audit process. How did Idaho's most populous county fare? We'll explain. It's peak holiday travel time. Same old story. Really, we checked. It is. We'll tell you how holiday travel has or hasn't changed over the years. What are you thankful for? Family? Friends? Maybe some better handwriting? Well, today we'll reflect as we head into the Thanksgiving holiday. This afternoon, we know very little more about the murders of 4 University of Idaho students in Moscow. In a news conference today, Moscow and Idaho State Police said, again, they still do not have a suspect, a murder weapon, or person of interest in this case. And this is a case, of course, we'll continue to follow. Our Andrew Bartline has been a part of this story since the very beginning. I know you followed the news conference this afternoon. Tell us, what is there out there for us to tell our audience in terms of what we do know?
Well, I think the newest piece is probably the depth of the investigation. We got some information about that today. How deep they're going, what direction they're heading in. Idaho State Police say they have collected 103 different pieces of evidence from the specific crime scene. Police have taken 4,000 photographs, several 3D scans of the house, and they've processed more than 1,000 tips. It has been 10 days since the murders. So these numbers show us what they're doing exactly, what their work looks like specifically. And without a smoking gun, or in this case, the murder weapon that they believe to be a fixed blade knife, this process inherently is not fast. Colonel Kendrick Wills with ISP reiterated investigations like this take a long time to get right.
We understand you want answers. We want answers too. But these take time, and if I could explain just a minute about the process here of what we go through just generally in investigations. So we use in advanced investigative techniques and crime scene processing. So what happens when a call comes in, the original officers, the first officers that respond to a scene, and then once that they've got their work there and determined that they need some additional investigative assistance, then they call investigators to come and help process that scene. And oftentimes it requires a forensics team to help process that scene. And when I say process the scene, what we're looking for is we're looking for any evidence that may help us to be able to find the people or person responsible for what we're seeing. And so we're collecting biological evidence, we're collecting latent evidence, whether it's shoe prints or tire marks or anything like that. We're trying to collect that evidence. We're trying to we do that through photographs, we do that through 3D mapping to be able to map the scene. We identify and we mark evidence, and then we collect that evidence. And then we look for any evidence that we think may be helpful. And once that is done, then we package all that evidence up and we send it off to forensics laboratories to be analyzed to see if it can help provide clues of what's happening. All of this takes an immense amount of time. The reason this is important to understand is because it's important that while this is such a tragic circumstance that we find ourselves in law enforcement, we believe we owe this to the surviving families to get this right. And so we're not willing to sacrifice speed for quality.
And through all of this, police add that their investigation has conducted roughly 150 interviews, and they did clear up some speculation regarding one of the victims, that they had a stalker. Well, through these interviews, that's how they learned that information. We're hearing that talked about a lot online. And through those interviews, they were able to conclude that while people say this, they haven't been able to corroborate that and confirm that elsewhere. So that did give us a little bit more depth in what they're learning. But again, a lot of this qualitative data, you would say, that we're learning from these interviews is kind of sealed to the public. The police and their investigation are kind of keeping that tight to themselves because they continue to say they don't want to release any evidence that could harm their investigation. But there's a tip line that we should be able to throw up. They say no tip is too big or too small. Even a tip that might lead them to learn what is not true can be of value. They say that is important to learn too. What isn't true equally with what is. So they ask anyone with any information to pass that along.
And it was interesting after, 10 days or whatever it's been of speculation, and a lot of national media outlets also weighing in on what they see from afar. In the conference this afternoon, when you have investigators talking and answering questions from national outlets, they say, why haven't you done this? Why haven't you done that? Why can't you tell us this? It's interesting to finally get to hear at length from the Idaho State Police, from the Moscow Police, about what they have been doing over the last 10 days, and also, clear up some of this scuttlebutt online. I also know that the Moscow Police Department has started an FAQ page on their website in terms of transparency. So all these rumors that are out there right now, that some are being perpetuated by people in this community, you can go find the real information that's out there. So I know there's a lot of criticism on this investigation, but it was really interesting to hear and see what exactly they're doing.
Yeah, it's inherently not a quick process. Again, when the murder weapon isn't right there, it takes time.
Andrew Bartline reporting for us here on Wednesday. Andrew, thank you so much. Well, on this eve of Thanksgiving, we are launching into the final run of 2022. Turkey Day tomorrow, and then the full holiday season is here. And Idaho election officials are also ready to wrap up their major business for the year. Remember the election a few weeks ago? Good, yes, that happened. And remember the results we had that night and the day after? Well, those technically were not the final results, as we'd like to tell you here, but technically the final results are being solidified this evening. But before election officials across Idaho can put the 2022 cycle to bed, they do have to audit the results per a brand new Idaho law. So how did Idaho do in the audit? We checked in with the largest county in the state to see how the audit went and why it matters. As the year winds down, it's time to put the 2022 election cycle to bed.
Following the 2020 election, there's been a lot of questions about how elections work, making sure that the results are accurate. It's really important that voters have confidence when they go to the polls that their ballot counts.
To help ensure that, clerks like Ada County's Phil McGrain are a part of a brand new process, an election audit created by a new Idaho law.
So these post-election audits are an opportunity for the state to go through and just check our work, make sure that all the clerk's offices who conducted the election, that everything adds up and that everything is accounted for properly, and most specifically being able to do a hand count of some of the ballots and compare those hand-counted results to what we reported on election night. So it's just a validation that everything's working properly.
The audit process selected a sample of small, medium, and large Idaho counties. Those counties selected randomly. And from there, it's right into the audit action. Ada County was selected in the random draw, so Clerk McGrain and his staff got to watch an audit of their work from the Secretary of State's office.
And I'm happy to report both the audit in May as well as the audit in November did exactly what it's supposed to, and it confirmed that the process is working well. So
what did the audit find in Ada County?
We had a one-vote change, so they audited and hand-counted 1,754 ballots. In that process, there was one ballot where the machine, when it read it as what's called an overvote, meaning there was markings in multiple choices on the same question, where the auditors, when they looked at it, they could easily determine voter intent, and so they counted it as a no vote. They were checking the constitutional amendment in this case, and so that was the only variance that we saw in the audit, and that's a really good indication that things are working as they're supposed to.
McGrain says the new process shows transparency in action, a crucial step to maintaining public trust in elections.
When you look at it, out of 1,700 ballots, right, you have this one change. I think it's a really good sign that the system is working. We always like bringing people in to see the process. That includes the auditors in this case. So the Secretary of State brings in a team of auditors to come and check our work, but they also have members from the Democratic and the Republican parties participating in that process. So it's a great validation, both for the political parties as well as just the system overall, that things are working the way they're supposed to.
Clerk McGrain is in a unique position as the Secretary of State-elect. He got to watch firsthand the process he will be on the other side of during the next election cycle. He says he still has eyes open for possible improvements.
The lens that I look at these things is a little different, especially looking at these audits, knowing that it's going to be a responsibility I'll be taking on here soon. Looking at how we can improve the process, I think there are some things that this year was the first time doing it, so there's a lot of lessons learned. You know, for example, Bonneville County was audited on Saturday just because of the time crunch. I'm hoping this legislative session we can adjust things a little bit so that clerk's offices don't need to open on a Saturday in order to do these audits. But I really do think the audits were a big success in terms of demonstrating Idaho's election system works well. The county clerks who do this work really hard to make sure that every voter's vote counts.
And McGrain tells me that this afternoon, the Idaho Board of Canvassers met to go over final numbers and checks from around the state. But this really will put the whole cycle to bed here in 2022. So, as I say, onwards and upwards to 2024. Holiday travel is upon us, and this is routinely the busiest time of the year for travel, specifically at airports. Boise Airport says that travel is up 9% from pre-pandemic levels in 2019. They also say that parking is full, and they're serious, it's full for everyone, so prepare for the economy lot. But this news got us thinking. Don't we do this story a lot, like every Thanksgiving, every year? Does it ever change? Well, Andrew Bartline dug into the Channel 7 vault to find out.
An airplane to start. Is it that time of the year again? We'll start turning the pages.
From San Francisco to Las Vegas to Salt Lake to Boise.
Thanksgiving is upon us,
for what is normally one of the busiest travel periods of the year,
which marks one of the busiest travel weeks in the country.
I've been telling my buddy, you're crazy
for going on the worst travel day of the year.
Now, the weekend before Thanksgiving is usually the busiest, followed by
Tuesday and Wednesday, right before the Thanksgiving holiday.
So be careful not to
He
almost miss your
his flight from Omaha to Boise.
I had to run this morning. That was kind of the first time I had to do that.
He thought arriving 40 minutes before his flight was enough time. It wasn't.
Number one piece of advice is arrive early.
How early did you get here?
2 hours.
Good advice according to airport officials.
These days in Boise, that's this guy.
The month before.
Sean Briggs is a spokesperson for the Boise airport.
The Boise airport recommends confirming your reservation and arriving at least 2 hours early.
Especially when it's busy, because those lines turn into packed planes.
The only problem we had was that it was overbooked, and so they were asking people to not fly till later.
2 people had to give up their seats because it was so full. Like, I was so scared I wasn't gonna have a seat.
Last year, I got stuck in Denver.
Luckily, the experts have us covered and warned us from the beginning.
AAA estimates just over 2 million people will travel by air this holiday season.
AAA reports in 2008, 2.5 million people traveled during Thanksgiving.
And we expect Boise Airport to mirror the trends happening across the nation.
Lots of people are traveling. Get there 2 hours early. Got it?
Advice Alex Buschulte is now giving to make sure people won't get bumped.
Don't be late. They could bump you off.
And if you listen, the process should go smooth, according to airport officials.
Everything was on time. Everything was working very well.
The lines are pretty much gone now. People get processed pretty quickly.
We were just saying that on the way to the airport. It's great to live in Boise. We pulled right up Southwest. It's easy drive over.
So as I'm sure you gathered, that was a compilation of stories from over the years, a decade in between some of those, so just for fun. Anyway, the message this year is the same. Pack your patience, but don't pack too many liquids, and make sure it's under 3.2 ounces. And remember, while the Boise airport may run fairly smoothly, other airports may not. So arrive early, friends. Family, friends, and new opportunities. The reasons are piling up. Thanksgiving is tomorrow, so we asked people in downtown Boise what they're thankful for. What are you thankful for this holiday season? Maybe something will be on your table? Is there a turkey bowl we should know about? Text us, 208-321-5614. Please be sure to include your name and hashtag the 208. Coming up in a few minutes, we'll have the Thanksgiving Eve edition of Your Comments live. Well, thanks for joining us on this eve of Thanksgiving, no matter where you are in this country. But of course, we're on the precipice of the full-blown holiday season. So it's time to sit back and take inventory. And in the spirit of the season, we visited with folks in downtown Boise for their thoughts on what they are thankful for here in 2022. What? You can't even read that. Jeez Louise. I'd be thankful for better handwriting.
You ready?
Wait, do I go? I know what I'm thankful for.
Our kids.
Our kids, family, husbands, I guess.
Yes, we have to be thankful for them too.
And what about this nice weather?
It's a little chilly.
It's okay. It's a little cold, but not bad for the end of November.
I'm Remy. And AJ.
Oh, I'm AJ.
I'm thankful for AJ. She's been my best friend for like 8 years, and I love her very much.
I was gonna say you too.
What are you thankful for?
I was gonna say the same thing. Yes. Yeah, I'm very thankful for Remy. She has always been there for me.
Thankful for friendship.
Yeah. Yep. I love AJ.
Love you.
Hi, I'm Andrew, and I'm thankful for our firstborn in May.
My first name's Ken, and I'm thankful for my family and friends, being blessed, living in this wonderful country and this beautiful city.
Big plans for Thursday, Turkey Day?
Hanging out with the grandkids and the kids.
Lots to be thankful for.
Yeah, for sure. It's great. Nice weather, great people, good food. Life is good.
My name's Shelly, and I'm thankful that we just opened a new brewery.
What's your new brewery?
It's called Alliteration Ales, and we just dropped a keg at Diablo.
So thankful for new opportunities.
Thankful for new opportunities and thankful for how supportive the community's been.
Hi, I'm Maddie, and I am thankful for my brother. I'm here visiting for Thanksgiving.
And where are you visited from?
Michigan, Detroit.
So it's a little warmer here, I guess.
Yeah, it is actually.
So thankful for good weather.
Yes, thankful for good weather, good food, and seeing family.
My name is TM. I'm thankful for an incredible staff, my team at Trailhead. I'm thankful for my family. And I'm also really thankful for the World Cup. As odd as it sounds, I know there's a lot of turmoil and controversy going around with the World Cup, the way it was awarded, the human rights abuses. But I have to say, in that very same controversy, I also see an opportunity for my motherland, Iran, to maybe win a game or two, so people over there have something to celebrate for.
What are you guys thankful for this year?
I'm thankful for my family. I'm thankful for my car that I got given to me, so.
Well, I gotta ask, what's it like being twins? I mean, aside from the glasses, I mean, it looks the same.
Yeah, well, it's cool. It's fun. It's something that I think a lot of people don't get to experience, but I also don't know what it's like to not be a twin, so it's cool.
Would you say you're thankful for having a twin?
Yeah. Yeah, it's cool. I always have someone for me, so. Yeah. Whenever I don't have anyone, I always have him, so it's pretty awesome.
So you could definitely go to each other's classes.
Yeah, we switched before. Majority of our teachers can't tell us apart. Yeah.
First name is Janina, and I'm thankful for my family and my Aunt my sister Franny, Aunt Franny, who could come visit me all the way from Texas.
You guys got a beautiful family.
Thank you. What are you guys thankful for? You want to say?
My name is Sierra, and I'm thankful for my family and friends.
Is this your sister?
My name is Kaisa, and I'm thankful for my family, and I'm thankful for the food that my mother has fed me.
I am honestly just really thankful to be home with my family this year. It's the first year in 4 years that I'll get to be home with them, so I'm super stoked to be back home and to be here. So.
I see your sweatshirt. You were in the Air Force?
I am.
What's it mean to be home with family during the holiday season? I know it's probably tough when you have to be away for so many years.
Yeah, well, I've been deployed for the holidays before, and the year before that I was in basic training, so this is like kind of the first year that I've actually gotten to I don't know, be home for it and kind of enjoy it, so it's great. I normally kind of dread the holiday season because of that, but this year it's a lot different, so.
Kylie, thank you so much for your service, and thank you for sharing.
Thank you for the support. Yeah, thank you.
Have a good one.
Day.
Quick story time real quickly, Rick. I took my dog Bosco out last night. It was a nice, cool evening. I see some flurries coming down. Just the excitement, the idea of a snowstorm really got me excited.
But it wasn't much, was it?
No, that was it. Do we get more in store, better in store?
If you collected them all from Ontario to Boise, all the snowflakes, I don't think you could even get a snowball. But we saw the light snowflakes coming down, and you're right. Happened last night. We're hoping that would do something to the inversion. It may have a little bit, but not a lot, okay? And I think when you look at this forecast, I want you to look at it this way. We're going to start out with the temperatures up here. Then we're coming down here. And then we're coming down here just, that's what we're looking here with the temperatures. You can see we got a 43. We had 46 for today. If it wasn't for that wind, about 10 to 15, it made a wind chill in the mid-30s, which is kind of what we've been used to. But if you look at this, the temperatures are up. We've got sunshine. I think Saturday is going to have quite a bit of sunshine. And then as we get into Sunday, storm system comes in. Next storm system comes in. See how the temperatures drop? And you know, when the next storm system comes in, it has cold air in behind it. So once it starts drying up, toward the end of next week, we're back to 20 with a high of about 35 degrees there, okay? When you look at the Magic Valley, temperature tomorrow 40, but there's a 45 for Friday. And then look at the showers. More of the favor of snow for Monday and Tuesday, but even in the Boise Valley, I would say look for some light snow possible for Monday morning at least, but we'll see as we get closer if that storm develops into more. Now here are the mountains, and great news is the fact that Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday you're going to be seeing more snow showers. They're going to start coming into the area for the mountains, but then as you look at the 10-day temperature trend, now this is for the valley. See, when I say start out here, come down here, come down here, there you go, 25 degrees toward the end of next week. Those are the high temperatures. And looking at the low temperatures, you see lows are down into the 30s. They drop again, but then as you look at this drop, the temperature goes down to 17. And then Saturday morning, I think this is one of the coldest, well, it certainly will feel like it. That's into Saturday morning. So that's the end of next week, where temperatures could be getting down well into the teens. Mountains are definitely going to be getting down into the single digits. So some really cold air after the storm the first part of next week. But for right now, we've got quite a bit of sunshine, and temperatures will still be up to the 40s. It got up to, the forecast was about a 42, and it got up to 46 degrees for today. So tomorrow's 43. Let's hope, Joe, that temperature climbs again and maybe is a little bit warmer, okay?
All right. Well, I know that the big Thanksgiving football games tomorrow will be a little chilly. Thank you so much for that, Rick. Well, from time to time here on the 208, things come up that are just too good to pass up on. This next story is one of those. The Nez Perce County Sheriff's Office, their Facebook page, it was hacked yesterday. The post begins, "Hello, friends. It's been a while, but I managed to hack Facebook again. Please don't narc on me, as I want to remain on the nice list instead of the naughty list. Who could the culprit be of this major hack?" K9 Icar claims his handler, Corporal Gregory, says he's been a good boy this year, so Icar is looking to replenish his antler shed supplies. You can see he enjoys chewing on them, and that's all on his Santa Paws list. He's a good boy stash. That's what he wants. He's asking for help getting his list to Santa Paws and is open to donations from friends. He finishes the post with promising to be a good boy and serving to the best of his abilities. And I'm sure the sheriff's office can forgive the hacking, and I'm willing to bet that Puppy will get a nice big stash of antlers under his Christmas tree. All right, we'll wrap up this 208 on the eve of Thanksgiving right after this. I got too excited. All right, the Comment-tron 7000 went on vacation a little early, so I did see all your messages. Thank you for all the kind messages. I'm thankful for my family. I'm glad they were able to watch tonight in Denver. I hope all of you get to spend time with your family. Have a great Thanksgiving. We'll see you next week.